I hesitated at the door to room 6401, just briefly enough to realize that my arrival would mean an immediate change in life's course. I didn't know yet whether she could move her left side at all. Turned out she couldn't. My beautiful mother had suffered 2 simultaneous strokes while already in the hospital for bleeding no one could seem to control. Complications from a blood disease that now left her paralyzed on one side, unable to move, swallow, smile, speak. When I got to her, I kissed her forehead and stroked her hair and face as she had done to me so many times in 40 years. And in the days to come, I fed her, I dressed her, I brushed and dried her hair, I learned to transfer her from her bed to her wheelchair, and I wheeled her to physical therapy. I rubbed her left arm and leg day after day, willing them to come back to life. I dived into the medical language I needed. Hemiparetic, which means paralyzed on one side. Then on to wheelchairs and platform walkers, varied prong canes and home health care aides, and dozens of medications. I spoke with nurses and residents and attendings and anyone who would spend the precious minutes with me to explain what would come next. And then, at the end of the day, I would drive home to my 3 children to feed them, brush and dry their hair, stroke their sweet faces when they fell, or kiss their foreheads to wake them in the morning. At the time, I recognized these tangible parallels of caregiving, but there were also so many meaningful examples of the intangible. I showed up for my mother, metaphorically and otherwise, because my whole life she showed me countless times that is what you do for people you love. You do whatever is necessary to meet their needs. You speak up for them and become their advocate, and you help protect their dignity in the face of vulnerability. The same way you dive into motherhood, terrified and exhausted, but feeling the immediate, unconditional love and fierceness by which we protect those we are entrusted to care for. When there's trauma in your life, or a loss, or something else so significant you can't really remember life before it, you assess. You look at who you are and how you fit into the world. You sometimes readjust your focus. You appreciate the little things. You find meaning in the minutia, or you resolve to make those small things more meaningful so you can. I didn't realize that process was happening when it was, after the potentially fatal medical mishap of my mother's, and as I approached my 40th birthday months later. But I was taking stock of my life. What example was I setting for my own children? What kind of life was I providing for them? And was I teaching them enough about confidence, kindness, determination, and integrity? I was married to an amazing father of my children, and just like a perfectly placed stack of Jenga blocks at the beginning of a game, we appear to have a balanced, solid life. Yet still, I couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that one wrong move and the whole pile of blocks would come tumbling down. I felt empty, and the adage, "life is short," kept entering my mind. Deep down, I knew it was because I didn't fit in that life with that man, wonderful as he was. I knew I didn't fit in this life with any man. It was my turn to push the Jenga block, and I was terrified. How could I tear apart our family? How could I look into the faces of these 3 innocent souls and tell them the 5 of us wouldn't live together anymore? And then one day, my sweet 3-year-old boy walked up to me, opened his arms, and said, "Mommy, you sad? Mommy, come here." And as he wrapped his sticky hands around my neck to comfort me, there was clarity. How could I not do this? How could I not teach my children that first and foremost in this life, you need to find your happiness and contentment from within? That being, accepting, and embracing who you are is how you connect with people, how you move through life with confidence, how you empathize, and how you learn to love. How can I not teach them the resilience of walking through this pain and coming out okay on the other side? It has been hard, and there have been many tears, but it has never been wrong. And someday, I hope they understand that. I hope my kids see that while life has its valleys and its mountains, they can be navigated fiercely. And when the time comes, I hope they will have gained enough confidence and strength to take a turn and push their own Jenga block.